Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some of the other more productive forwards. Ademola Lookman. Whoever thought Ademola Lookman would be leading the scoring chart for Nigeria? 3 goals, 7 shots, a non-penalty XG of 1.70. Now, for those who are wondering what this non-penalty XG, all we are saying is that Ademola Lookman's expected goal haul, if you take out potential penalties, this is what you have left. This is what you have left. 1 big chance missed. He has 1 assist. That assist came from the first game where he set up Victor Osimhen. And in the other games, it's been Osimhen and the others who have been finding him there. Edwin, let's talk a bit about Ademola Lookman. He is a very interesting player. Switched to Nigeria in 2022 after trying to break into England and it wasn't successful. At Fulham, really didn't work. The most enduring image for me was missing that Panenka
ridiculous
at West Ham that I don't even know what he wanted to do. It didn't work. But he's reinvented himself, and at Atalanta, he's found good form, and he's brought that form to the AFCON. You know, and 3 goals. So I'll come to you in a bit there, but let's just see what Edwin has highlighted, then we can talk about the numbers concerning Ademola Lookman. Yeah, but Edwin, you first.
You're absolutely right. He's been fantastic for Atlanta. He's brought that form, as you said, to the Nigerian team, and the goal scoring is fine. But what impresses me most about Ademola Lookman is his anticipation, his movement, and his movement. So in this first game, I've already shown this clip, but I want to highlight him again. Fantastic. He doesn't even wait for Osimhen to win the ball. He's already on the move, hoping to feed off any chances. And of course, he does get the chance to get onto the ball. Fantastic movement from Ademola Lookman. He waits, bites his time, and he runs into the perfect position to get the ball from Osimhen. The finish is a bit iffy. Very lucky to have got the goal, but
almost missed it.
Obviously, he did get the goal. And his second goal, we go to his second goal, and this was scored against Cameroon.
And this against Angola?
Sorry, this...
Okay.
Yeah, so let's take the Angola goal first. But his movement impresses me. Moses Simon wins the ball, and he's immediately on his bike, making his way into the box. So he already has his hands up, asking for the ball from Moses Simon, and Moses Simon does well to wait and ensure he's in the right position.
Thumbs up to Osimhen, though.
Thumbs up to Osimhen to take the attention of a couple of defenders, but the movement from Ademola Lookman moves into the box as a proper winger should do, and this is what we've been calling for the Black Stars. Wingers know when exactly they need to switch from the wide side and run into the box, make themselves a supporting striker and an additional striker, provide more options to the other person who is putting the ball into the box. The next goal we are going to look at is the one against Cameroon finally. Brilliant movement. He takes the ball. He's not afraid to take on defenders, but he's not afraid to look for help as well. Finds Iwobi. And he decides to get into a position where there's no defenders. This is fantastic movement and anticipation. Any other player, after seeing the ball go out wide, he's not the tallest player. He's not going to be very effective in the high cross situation. He could have possibly moved out of the box and tried to regain possession, because what he knows is having the ball at his feet and trying to take on defenders. He decides to stay in the box because he understands that a lot of the players are going to be focused on Osimhen because he's the taller player, he's the threat in the air. He decides to create another option for the crosser Calvin Bassey to aim for. He gets onto the ball, and it's a very, very good finish from him. Maybe questions again about the goalkeeper, whether Ondoa could have done much better with that, but that was a very good finish from Ademola Lookman. So he scores goals. He is able to beat defenders. He gets into the right positions, and he anticipates attacks. And that is what you want from a winger, a player who anticipates and moves with that anticipation, a player who doesn't wait. He's not reactionary. He actually moves before the moves happen, and he provides an option for his teammates. And Nigeria are going to count on him very much for this semi-final, because South Africa are a very strong unit defensively. They need players who are technically gifted, can take on defenders on their own, and provide options either on the wing or centrally in the box.
Interesting. So you were talking about, when we started mentioning Ademola Lookman, you were highlighting the fact that he had done well. Your own thoughts on his performance? I don't know, because going into this, I mean, I noticed that he was in good form for Atalanta, but never did I imagine that he would be this prolific. If 3 goals for Nigeria is prolific, then he's really done well in getting those goals, and those goals have been key in pushing the Super Eagles all the way to the last 4 of the tournament.
I mean, I'll just touch on Atalanta a little bit before. Last season, he was their top scorer. This season, he's their second top scorer. So he's found a place where he's consistently contributing. And Atalanta are not a bad team. They are regularly a top 8, top 6 team in Serie A. So he's not playing for a joke team, and he's contributing very positively. But when it came to this tournament, we all eyes on Osimhen. You know, it was very obvious that Osimhen was the man. We expected him to kind of lead the charge. But it looks like Lookman has kind of taken over, and he's gotten the goals when they needed him to, because you are playing Cameroon tight knockout game. You want someone who will deliver. He did that. So I believe we have to give him credit where credit is due. And it looks like all his goals have come in the knockout rounds, which is very key as well, because remember, he also gets a goal against Angola to give them the win there as well. Yeah. So he's kind of what they call, as the basketball people call, he's coming up clutch when they need him to. And when we are talking about Osimhen misfiring, Osimhen is firing. You know, it was misfiring, and Lookman doesn't score these goals. Nigeria don't have any goals in the knockout rounds. That's how good he's been. But it's not just the goals, because he's second in the competition for chance creation and expected assists. So it's not like he's just scoring goals. He is creating chances, but we're talking about Osimhen not taking chances. So you have to understand why the assists are not higher, you know. So I think, look, he's a great player. He's found his home. He's contributing positively for his country. I think he's in a very good place in his career right now, and we have to be happy for him, because he is, if they win this tournament, they remember the fact that Lookman got them past Cameroon, he got them past Angola. And I would expect that if something happens for them against South Africa, it will be either him or Osimhen who makes something happen. Between the two of them, I believe that they are the game winners going into the South Africa game. So, look, he's a great player, and right now, he looks like one of the players of the tournament so far, for sure.
All right, Victor Osimhen coming in for some great praise. Finally, on him, Safuyo, so now it's become a double act, really. It's Osimhen and Lookman, and they are the ones who will potentially power Nigeria past South Africa, should it happen that way. Just your own thoughts on the two and what kind of damage they could cause the South Africans.
So, you see, one thing we are underestimating about his impact in Atalanta is Atalanta, for a very long period, had been very reliant on Duvan Zapata, Malinowski, and these kind of attacking players. And Ilicic. Yeah. And these players have faded off slightly. Zapata is no longer there. And for Lookman to, take up that mantle, it should have showed everybody the form he was in before coming back. I mean, that form was up against Africa's best player. So, and you see, as a player, that takes off the pressure from you. And one other thing is, his form he's having reminds me of the late Christian Achu's form he had in. There are just some tournaments. They are your tournaments. Yeah. Everything seems to come together for you, and it's like when you are performing that well and you are saving the team, it's also like free, because Asamoah Gyan was also in that tournament, but Gyan didn't score as much or deliver as much as Achu was delivering in that tournament. It's very, very similar to what Lookman and Osimhen are having, because at the end of the day, I think Lookman is delivering, but then it makes a very scary team, because now you are not talking about Moses Simon, who is the one creating some of these chances, and the three of that front three is working perfectly.
Okay.
Lookman is having let's not get it twisted. He's having a very, very good tournament. He's having a very terrific tournament. But most of it also comes from the quality of services he's getting. Look at the service Simon gave him against Angola. The service Basse gave him to even pick him out as at the spot he was standing. The service Osimhen is giving. Look at the service Lookman himself gave Osimhen. So the three of them are working very well. And it's just like how last week I spoke about the telepathy in the South African team. There's that telepathy in the front three. It seems to be clicking. So in as much as Lookman is doing very well. I think the people around him are also helping, and that makes Nigeria a very dangerous team.
All right, the Nigerians will take on South Africa in the last 4 of the AFCON.